phenomenal week from what I've seen on the Facebook Members Lounge. Everybody's been very, positive and lots of wins there. So I'm really proud of everybody there. Well done on the Members Lounge. And it's great to see everybody with some Brittany. Wow. Coming in from Instagram. Good to see you. It's great to see you guys. I love doing these. Angie, first live. I love doing these. I miss doing these. I will be doing more of them as soon as the second book is launched. Working very hard on it. I really believe it's going to be a game changer in terms of not only just healing anxiety, which is just a small part of our lives, but transformation, right, into new us's. So I'm really pumped up about that. But it's just really good to be here. And really, what I wanted to do today was a combination of two things. One was I really wanted to get a good idea of the last year. And everybody's obviously got a different journey, a different story, and how things unfolded over the year. So we want to look back and take a few lessons. But more than anything, I wanted to set you up for tremendous progress in 2020. Patty can't wait for the book. Neither can I. And every year it seems like everybody's got these resolutions. Like, this is going to be the year, I'm going to live my life and, I'm going to travel and I'm going to become someone new and I'm going to make a difference and find my purpose. And then it just kind of fades away by February, March, and everybody, a lot of people go back to being the old them. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, I want to make sure that this group here, this tribe, has the tools, has the insights, and has the inspiration they need, the drive, the inner drive they need to get to a better place internally. Because that's really what all of this is about. It's not about anything on the outside, it's about everything on the inside that needs to be altered in order for us to live life peacefully, to live life with a purpose, and to live life happily. So I hope that you have a journal. I hope that you guys have a pen and a piece of paper around, because during these Facebook Lives, it's always a good idea to jot down a few things and those moments of clarities and those epiphanies. Because I know a lot of people get plenty of those during these Facebook Lives. So if you haven't already, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. Will we do a reframing past or reframing future process together? I don't know today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. When will the book be available? And the title, I'm not giving away the title yet, George. Come on. But it will be available hopefully end of January, February. I have a tough time saying February. Got to work on that. But yeah, somewhere in there, pumped up. And the first book was very, very personable, right? But the second book is going to be a complete overview of the last however many years, the teachings, the knowledge, that sort of thing. So, pumped up. Let's do this. Warrior, the journey ahead in 2020 demands a few very key components. Hey, Jason, give it up. Jason, miss you, man. Haven't seen you in a while. The journey demands a few components from us, a few essentials. I'm going to mention those essentials, and I want you to look deep within you to say, hey, Dennis, that's not a problem with me. Or, yeah, that's something I really need to focus on. The journey demands self-discovery, okay, which means that there are two parts to us that are in conflict. Okay, Jenny, you made it. The journey demands self-discovery. Anxiety connects us to the opportunity to create self-discovery. Stress, whatever it is, worry, it's a journey. The ego versus the soul. Okay, now let's go over the ego compared to the soul. I want you to ask yourself, does this acronym that I'm about to mention play a big part in my everyday life? And if it does, the ego is running your life. The acronym is WAR, W-A-R. Now, if the ego is running your life, W equals worry. Okay? A equals anticipation. R equals regret. Now look deep within and ask yourself, is the soul speaking louder within me, connected to my true intuition, or is the ego running my life, therefore causing me to live in emotional states that I don't want to live in? Worry. Worry equals security. People that worry all the time feel like it provides them with something. They feel like they gain something from either someone or the universe in some way. And so the worry provides them the opportunity to meet a need that wasn't met when they were kids. Very, very common. The more I worry, I'll give you an example. The more someone worries about their kids, the better mom they are, the better father they are. The more they worry about their own health, the greater the opportunity is that they will be able to catch something that goes wrong early enough for them to overcome it. Worry provides security, and it matches a need that wasn't met as a child. A, anticipation. Anticipating something negative showing up in the future in their minds helps them prevent that catastrophic event from occurring or being better prepared for it. But anticipation can also come in a positive sense. When I get that bigger house, then I'll be fulfilled. Right? When I wear clothes like that, then I'll be cool. Right? When I'm around that circle of people, then I'll be fulfilled. Right? When I know what my true purpose or my true meaning in this life is, then I'll start living my life. So we need to understand that worry, anticipation, and regret. Regret as in, oh man, can't believe I did that back in the day. Or I can't believe I caused mom and dad so much pain back in the day. I can't believe I broke the rules, right? I can't believe I was that person. So the ego must not be running the day, okay? And the soul must speak louder than the ego. Now the soul whispers and the ego screams. Remember that. The soul whispers and the ego screams. Very subtle epiphanies as you go through the day. And when these subtle epiphanies show up many times, we don't pay much attention to them and we move on to the very next thing that will stimulate us again. What do we need to do? Who do we need to be? What do we need to say? That kind of thing. So the journey demands self-discovery. Okay? And we know that this journey towards self-discovery is in fact being completed, accepted, and respected when war, worry, anticipation, and regret are no longer weighing heavily upon us, these habits. So, Luana says wisdom for W. She says acceptance for A, and reconciliation for R. Damn, girl. Awesome. Awesome. Great, great, great comments, great feedback. Love it. From time to time, I like scrolling. Denise, meet Dennis. The journey demands, write this down, the journey demands higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of consciousness. You cannot be free from anxiety at the same level of consciousness that you're currently living in. It cannot happen. Joe, we're going to get into that. Promise. Book tour, yes, we're going all the way from west to east, Michael, okay? Canada and the US. So, yeah, I'm going to take up that offer at Pizza in New York. It's happening, most likely, okay? And hopefully a talk in between as well. More info on the way. But your level of consciousness, your level of awareness, Brittany, those are some loud yeses, girl. I love it. Must be identified. We must, Toronto, yes. Yeah. Dedicating the first 6 months of 2020 to this idea, guys. In the moment of hesitation, in the moment of sensitivity, in the moment of anxiousness, in the moment of fear, in the moment of happiness, in the moment of pleasure, in the moment of joy, in the moment of neutralness, you must live your days through a higher level of consciousness if in fact you are dedicated enough to the change process, period. An example of this is you go to the mall and you have your kids and they're like jumping up and down. I'm so excited, right? Ooh, we're going to go to our favorite store. I'm so pumped up. Mommy, Daddy, this is going to be great. And you're going, shh, right? Calm down. It's just a mall, right? And you're telling them, hey, ease up a little bit. That's the survival instincted you showing up. That's not the higher you showing up. The higher you, or a higher level of consciousness, would be aware of that moment and say, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to do the very thing that will free me from anxiety and free me from fear, and that is to be more childlike. Okay? Your freedom lies in your ability, people, to be more playful and childlike as you go through the day. It's incredible, but it has to be organic. It has to be natural. In order for it to be natural, you first have to consciously practice it. Let's understand this. So, you cannot be unconscious at this time in your life and expect to be free from anxiety. You cannot go through your day unconsciously and hope for change just to show up. I'm just going to go and listen to this guy who wears toques, Facebook Live for an hour and a bit, and I'm going to listen to him and hopefully it seeps in. No, right? You got to be proactive. You have to question things. You have to make sure you connect this information to what you're going through. Very key. So a higher level of awareness and consciousness is key in 2020. Number 3, the journey demands constant inner questioning. Oh my God, Brittany just commented. Patty, thank you so much. Being present is the key, Patty says. Yes. Courtney's got a happy face. I love it. Brittany says, when I deepened my spirituality and raised my vibration and consciousness, the anxiety continued to dissipate and become less and less. I changed my lifestyle, meditation, yoga, mindfulness, deliberate action, self-work every single day. Now, that is a good example there of someone who's not hoping for change, not managing their current state, but consciously doing the work through higher levels of consciousness until it is as automated as anxiety once was for her and for me and for everybody else. So, a great example of not focusing on anxiety and getting rid of it, but focusing on the transition and transformation. Okay, there's a lot more going on here than just anxiety. Okay, and until you can open yourself up to that a lot more, okay, you're just going to be stuck trying to rid yourself of symptoms, mental symptoms, emotional, physical symptoms, and you're just going to circle around, and you can see it in your results. Constant inner questioning in 2020 is going to be vital. Constant inner questioning, right? I personally questioned my beliefs every single day. I questioned the way I was thinking and whether those voices were mine or not, or somebody else's. Carmen, I appreciate you 1000% for being here. I love you and thank you for being a part of this tribe. So constant inner questioning is key. Colby says you have to question your core beliefs. You have to question your thoughts. You have to question your intentions. You know what? Here's what I used to question. Bubbles. I used to stand in line at the grocery store, and in front of me there would be someone standing there, and maybe that person was maybe looked different than me, or maybe they did something that I didn't like, or there was something about them that I just didn't like, right? And I remember walking around with this kind of inner, not anger, inner rage on a daily basis. I remember taking out my frustration on everybody because there was so much regret, blame, and guilt there. When I began questioning those initial reactions when I was in line, I realized that those reactions that I had to that person could have very well been the same reactions that they are feeding themselves, and also others have fed them in their past. And then I started to understand how everything is really connected. Anxiety many times is thinking that we're separate from everything and everybody else out there. But when we sense that there is a certain amount, if not a very high amount, of connectedness between people and energy out there, then we start to become a lot more compassionate and understanding and empathetic towards other people and ourselves. So the moment I caught myself with that kind of reaction to people, I started questioning it. I remember my healing being very much connected to constant inner questioning. And in 2020, you cannot allow yourself to succumb to a feeling. You cannot allow yourself to succumb to an idea. You cannot succumb to your regular unconscious habits anymore. We say these things, but we also have to make sure that we are implementing these things, because that in fact is the most challenging part. People like to think they forget, when in fact change is just something too scary and uncomfortable for them. You can't picture me angry. Yeah. I don't get angry much. What's there to get angry about? Questions, Valerie, very, very soon. What else does this journey demand in 2020? It demands turning focus from effect to cause. Your focus must not be on effect. It must be on cause. Okay? You cannot live your life trying to tweak and to get rid of your symptoms, okay, whether that be bodily or otherwise. Okay? You have to dig deeper. You have to do a certain amount, not a lot, a certain amount of detective work to find out what's still being repressed emotionally in your mind, in your body, that comes down to two things. Number one, your earliest experiences. So whatever you heard, even peripherally from mom and dad when you were a kid, whatever you saw, whatever you were told, right? Those sorts of things. Many times people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s still have the same beliefs as when they were 5, 6, 7. They've never grown out of them, right? They may look different, but the beliefs have stayed the same. So we have to turn our focus from effect to cause. Number one, your earliest experiences. Number two, the things that have been the most consistent in your life. Okay, so whatever has been the most consistent in your life is the very thing that you are unconsciously going to want to do in that moment. What else? Analyzing new insights. Analyzing new insights. You have to analyze your insights and you have to spend time on them if in fact you want to go in a different direction in your life. The problem is we're analyzing all the things that could go wrong and the things that have gone wrong in our lives. And we never take the time to analyze the new insights, the new clarity, the new epiphanies that show up. I find myself today spending a lot of time on things that I'm curious about. Wow, I just had that feeling. Wow, that feeling's attached to that. Wow, this showed up before as well. Interesting. So, those are things we have to bring with us in 2020, but we also have to make sure that we leave behind certain things. Now check in with yourself and write these down, okay? What can't be brought with you along this path of healing? And then I'm going to go into a very, very, very important rule, okay? Helplessness, inner and outer dialogue. Can't come with you. It can't. Period, it cannot. Okay? I don't care how helpless you feel. Just make sure that the inner dialogue is different than how you feel. Okay? Just make sure your verbal communication with other people is different than how you feel. Okay? So helplessness internally and externally cannot be entertained. We cannot go on this route. You cannot bring this with you in 2020. Period. That's why you see me delete a lot of comments, a lot of posts. And why do I do it? For your own good. Sometimes somebody comes to me and says, Dennis, why did you delete my post, my comment? You know, I just tried to express myself. Well, I know what you're trying to do, but I can't allow you to live in the same place that you're living in, and that's why I deleted your comment or your post. And all of a sudden, they feel a little bit differently. They go, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. They go another direction. Not everyone, right? Number two, unconsciousness, like we mentioned in the first part. Okay, you can't bring unconsciousness with you throughout the day because it's so vital that we don't succumb to the same energies, frequencies, vibrations of other people around us. I've been asking myself a very important question lately, and I'm pondering it, and I'm still trying to come to a conclusion about it. Can a person meet with a massive awakening, let's call it transformation, enlightenment? Can a person get there in an urban environment? The city life, 9 to 5, surrounded by different energies and frequencies and words being expressed to you and thoughts that are coming off of people, negative thoughts, limiting ideas, actions that don't serve your own purpose and your desires that you recognize in other people. Is it possible to live in a city like that, that's, very highly stimulating, and still get to a place of inner peace? Comment below. What do you think? What do you think? And how this is connected to unconsciousness is, if you allow those energies to dictate how you think and what you do, then you're going to be no different than anybody else. Right? Will says it is possible. It is possible to meet with inner peace. Valerie says you can. Joe says it's possible. Colby says absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. What else can't you bring? You can't bring with you the mindset of outside in healing. Okay, you can't bring with you the mindset of outside in healing. You must make sure that you are clearly focused on inside out healing. Okay, outside in says that someone, something, some future experience, some anticipated event will bring me peace when I'm there. And I'm not there, so therefore I can't have peace. Therefore I can't overcome anxiety. Okay, that's outside in healing. Inside out healing says, I change what's going on the inside, and therefore the way I perceive everything on the outside changes. But not only your perceptions change, you literally affect matter. You affect it, right? Because again, everything is connected. It was incredible how, my whole circumstances changed when my inside world changed. Right? And I'm no different. I'm not a special person, right? I just decided to take on a different path in my life, and I stuck to that path for an extended period until I could afford to be unconscious again. Right? That's it. And what else can't you bring? You can't bring the same perceptions over your past into your new identity. Period. You can't bring the same perceptions over your past into your new identity. That means that whatever occurred during your childhood experiences, you must begin learning and implementing new perceptions over what happened and the people that were involved in your past. If you're still upset at mom, if you're still angry at dad, if you still blame your brother, if you still blame your sister, if you still blame school and your teachers, these sorts of things, and you regret that you grew up in a certain area and so forth, it's a problem. Okay? So the way you perceive those must change, but I'm a big believer that you can't just consciously change your perceptions. There isn't enough oomph, power behind it to affect the subconscious. You have to do it within the first 10 minutes of the day, the last 10 minutes of the day, and through some kind of altered state work. Yeah, we're going deep here. We have to. You have to do it through some kind of altered state work. If you are not meditating right now, at least 1 minute every single day, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very, very hard. Right? Valerie, you like the forced meditation? Awesome. Warriors, let me break it down for you. Okay, let me break it down. Tea first. Cheers, by the way. This is my kind of cheers. What if it seems hard to get in that altered state no matter how you try? Patty, that is a telltale sign of control. It's a telltale sign of losing a sense of uncertainty, losing safety, losing security. If you have a tough time getting into that altered state where your brain waves slow down, okay, where you allow yourself to let go, then there is a tremendous amount of fear of letting go. There is this addiction to, being on the ball, right? Being stimulated, doing something, and so forth. What I would say is spread out the day within small, short time periods. So 30 seconds of it, or 45 seconds, or 1 minute. You don't have to do a 5-10 minute meditation. You don't have to do a 30-minute meditation. Okay, all you have to do is do what your system will allow you to do temporarily until you introduce this new idea, okay, to your system that says, hey, it is safe to slow down. Because right now, when a lot of people meditate, they have a very challenging time doing it because slowing down equals a potential threatening experience that may show up in the future. So again, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, doesn't matter. Don't worry about the length of time. Focus on the quality of it. You're introducing things. It's like introducing your child to a new sport. In the beginning, they may kind of be like, hey, Dad, I hate this thing. Get me out of this field. I don't like it here, right? Or it's really boring. Right? And you're going, give it some more time. Give it some more time, and so forth. So that's really, really key. Now, let me break it down. At the end of the day, okay, because there's two parts to you that are fighting for supremacy. Two parts. There's the child part, okay, and I believe the child part is very much embedded in the subconscious mind, and the adult mind, okay, the adult part of you, the logical, rational side of you, the part that embraces willpower, logic, that sort of thing. So, child, adult, two parts fighting for supremacy. At the end of the day, if you can look back on the day and say, I fulfilled the 80-20 rule. I crushed it, right? I crushed it and I fulfilled the 80-20 rule. The adult has won the day. The adult has guided the child. The child hasn't taken over the day and guided the adult. Okay? Because I know that none of us would consciously allow a child to run each and every aspects of our lives. No. 80% of the day, and of course, this comes down to emotions. 80% of the day was spent emotionally feeling balanced, neutral, vanilla, or pleasant. That was 80% of my day. 20% of my day was spent on occurrences, internal challenges, external challenges, but I never allowed myself to build on the initial survival instincts, survival feelings that showed up because of those challenges. And I mentioned this term before, the spider web effect, where you spider web from one negative idea to the next till you get so emotional that you can't control yourself. Patty, you're understanding this. I love it. %80 of the day, neutral to pleasant. 20% of the day, challenges, fears, anger, anxiousness, it doesn't matter. You have to allow yourself to experience those negative states without placing labels on yourself. Period. Oh, I got angry there, so it was a bad day. Hell no! No such thing. Right? Anger, sadness, anxiousness, blame, guilt, these are all opportunities for us to evolve. So stop seeing them in such a negative light, because they're not negative. They're just experiences. Imagine that. Imagine no longer placing the labels of good and bad on your feelings and emotions. Imagine that. That would be an incredible world to live in. How would your life be different? Right? What opportunities would arise because of this new perception? Now, I know most of you are saying, Dennis, that's a nice idea. That's great. It's great that you're telling me this, Dennis. It's fantastic. But I'm pretty far from that world. That's where I was. Okay? And that's where a higher level of consciousness will come into play in moments when you feel those things. So the 80-20 rule means, where did you live emotionally for the majority of the day? Write that down. Where did I live emotionally for the majority of the day? I remember my days being the other way around. 80% was like, whoa, like just survival mode. And 20% was like these moments, like, oh, I had a bag of chips and I feel good, right? I feel fine. Or I had, a smoothie and I got this rush, or I got a piece of chocolate, or someone complimented me, or I felt good temporarily because of something I did. They came and they left, right? But over time, that 80-20 began reversing. It began reversing more and more and more, just like the slow train analogy, right? The train takes a while to get going and speeds up over time, and then it takes a while for it to slow down and eventually go in another direction. Joe says he was 20-80 a year ago, and now he's 80-20. And if we do, in fact, take the mindset with what Jennifer has just said, healing takes time, right? We can, in fact, come from a place of self-love. And when we come from a place of self-love, we are no longer looking for the love on the outside. We already have it on the inside, and everything else is a bonus. Can you imagine going through each and every day and saying, I get to do this. My family is a bonus to me. It's a bonus. This roof over my head is a bonus, right? The fact that I have electricity is a bonus. The fact that I can communicate with you and you communicate with me is a bonus. The fact that I have this career or I'm working on a side business is a bonus. Can you imagine seeing life that way? How beautiful will life be when you see everything as a bonus? Good ideas, Dennis. Right? Let's make them real now. So, those are the main components, guys, that are going to get us to a brand new place, and not just create a resolution and hope for change to show up by just listening to things and acting on things differently and hoping. Okay? Hope is a great place to start. It really is. But if hope is your main strategy for healing, I'm sorry to say there's going to be no healing. You are a co-creator in your life with source energy. I'm going deep there. Just make sure you embrace that fact, that idea. Okay? The universe, the world will give you everything that you want. Literally. Right? If you can just be in that 80-20 world. If you can just be in alignment with your conscious desires. Is it easy? Sometimes, but usually not. Usually it's not easy. So don't expect it to be easy, right? Don't expect it to be easy. Now, if anybody has any questions, we can definitely tackle those. What's everybody drinking out there? It's always sad when the tea runs out, isn't it? I feel like Winnie the Pooh there for some reason. On Instagram, we actually went to this very cool herbal store in Japan, and it's been around since the 1100s. Right? I thought it was really cool. Go check it out on my Instagram stories. Oh my God, Dennis, I planned on being here finally. I forgot it was in CST this week instead of EST. Julie, my love, you can definitely watch this. I'm also going to post it on YouTube. Don't worry. Next year, Zoe's committed. Joe's got some lemon blend. I love it. Denise with the water. Love it. Ashwagandha tea, Patty. Oh, look at you. Awesome. How's it working, by the way? A lot of people have a lot of questions on ashwagandha. Amanda's getting better by the day. Brittany's got lemon balm tea. Utah. It's a possibility. With the book tour. With the book tour, talks, they'll go hand in hand. Water, good stuff. All right. Questions. Does anybody have any questions? You became a crazy tea lady after you met me. Yes! Come on! Yes. Gotcha. Oh man, what's my favorite tea? Honestly, I would have to say reishi tea. Reishi tea, but when it's done straight from the source, from the mushroom, bang it up, boil it, right? Boil it for like 2 hours, throw it in there, start drinking. I believe reishi tea is my favorite. Hard to find, right? Very hard to find. Jason, I miss you weekly too, my friend, but this book's got to get done. It's got to get done. Got to get it out there, right? Necessary. So as far as questions go, we're leaving 2019 behind. We are embracing this journey. My biggest takeaway in 2019. I think that my biggest takeaway in 2019 is that I've realized that discomfort, and really at a heart level, that discomfort, pain, even a certain amount of distress isn't bad. It's not bad. And I think by by walking people through my programs and sessions and such, I've realized that it really is a part of this whole transformation, and it's just really a part of everyday living. And I think that the biggest problem we have at the moment is that we are attaching too many negative labels to those uncomfortable and foreign feelings. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. So I'm in a place in my life where from time to time I'll experience discomforts, I'll experience ideas, I'll experience some pessimism or, criticism from others. But I've really learned to respond with a certain amount of love that I never had before. Never, ever, ever. I used to get so caught up in people saying, hey, why don't you smile more? And on the inside, I felt really at peace. And I realized that, when people project those sorts of things onto you, many times it has nothing to do with you, but things that haven't been taken care of on the inside of them. So my biggest takeaway really is that pain, discomfort, and these things that we call negative aren't so much negative, because they do in fact show up each and every day. They do. And as long as we can work with them, as long as we can respond with some amount of compassion and love and understanding and empathy, then we can start healing that inner wounded child within us, because it's not coming from the adult's perspective, right? All these fears aren't coming from the adult's perspectives. I didn't even realize that my physical pain was attached to so much trauma. And when I began renegotiating those traumatic experiences through reframing, my physical discomforts left, my pain left. It's incredible. So it really, Courtney, it really does come down to a broad perspective, a big picture way of seeing what you're currently going through, and being open to ideas that will, confirm a whole nother direction around them. It really is my biggest takeaway, and that's a fantastic question. Fantastic. I really do believe in my heart that 2020 is going to be that transformational year, and a lot of people are going to take this experience and become a coach themselves, become a whatever themselves. The buddy program, yeah, I mean, I hope that people out there are still working the buddy program. Really key, getting a buddy. And if you guys have any questions on that, if you go to the members lounge, in the announcements, you'll see a really long description on the buddy system. But sign up or get involved in the members lounge right away. Yeah, I mean, Brittany says that something traumatic doesn't have to be something huge that happened. It could be something small. Absolutely. Something small. Like, I didn't realize this for a long time, that my traumas didn't even have to be something that I was experiencing, right? I could have peripherally been hearing mom and dad fighting in the corner. And since I attached love to mom and dad, they were my gods, and they were fighting. During my anxiety, anger equaled love. Fighting equaled love. Discomfort equaled love. Pain, suffering equaled love, because they were fighting. I wasn't involved. I was playing with my toys. Right? But I realized I was sorting for suffering all the time. I was sorting for suffering, drama, right? And the less drama there was in my life, the less fulfilled I felt. It was strange. And then you begin questioning those things, and you begin reframing. If you're going through the program right now, make sure you're utilizing the magic frame, number one, and the gray room, number two, on a daily basis. Right? Because it's not just about changing the way you think. It's not just about consciously reperceiving things. Right? I mean, the keyboard to your freedom are your emotions. Right? And the password to freedom is your imagination. Write that down. Right? The keyboard is your emotions. If you don't emotionally feel different towards people and the experiences from your past, nothing will change. And if you don't consciously utilize this huge source, this tool that we call our mind's eye, imagination, creative intelligence, if you don't utilize that, If you don't go into altered states, very difficult to change things at a deep enough level. That's why I believe in not so much being in a vegetative state and going through hypnosis, but in a mild, calming state and allowing yourself to act out and imagine what you want to see, right? Good stuff. What's a great motto, Valerie? Um, are binaural beats safe without the exercise or reframing? I'll be honest with you. I don't really believe in binaural beats on YouTube too much. Um, I've had some friends do a lot of research into many of the binaural beats on YouTube. I'm not fully trusting in them, but with that said, um, the other places, like directly from websites, I mean, to tell you the truth, the most powerful meditation slash binaural beats I've ever come across that have worked instantly, that also get you to a place where you're utilizing the imagination, whether you know it or not, is through Kelly Howell. She has been my go-to and will continue to be my go-to as far as meditation and visualization goes. Um, Kelly Howell has a great app called meditate.me. I'm hoping to, during this book tour, I'm hoping to get an interview with her. Look out for that in 2020. I'm pretty pumped up about that. It's almost like, going in and like, woo, looking up to someone. It's really cool. But she's fantastic. And she's a little bit left field for people that aren't really, um, haven't meditated too much or gone into this work. Maybe a little bit out there, but in time you will begin accepting some of those suggestions. What's a great new motto you think we should have for 2020? Um, oh, there's so many. There's so many. I would say the great motto would be everything is. I know. You're expecting something really motivational, right? Everything is. That's it. And yeah, excited. 2020. Here we go. Here we go. San Diego. It's happening. I have a good friend over there, and I just can't wait to visit him. So definitely San Diego, California will be a part of the tour. Yep, pumped up. Oh yeah, he says it just is. It just is. There you go. Right? Yep. Everything is. Everything is. That's it. Florida. Yep. If I get to New York, I will get to Florida. For sure. For sure. For sure. Gonna spread the love to as many places as possible. Uh, I'm guessing this tour will probably go, could be April, May, definitely throughout the summer. Definitely throughout the summer. And I'm actually thinking of getting one of those, hippie camper vans and like driving, but I'll probably override that idea because I don't like sitting for very long periods of time. So I'm probably gonna fly. Pre-orders for the book, um, yes. Hopefully, in the coming weeks, I will definitely be updating everything on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so look out for the updates. I'm going to let you guys know. I'll let you guys know everything pretty much. Brazil. Oh man, I'd love to go visit Brazil. Yeah, I'd love to go visit Brazil. I'm a big fan of all the soccer players there. And, Philadelphia, yes, yes, yes. Guys, in closing, I did put out a morning affirmations video on YouTube. Please go ahead and upon awakening, like the first 10 minutes, like I mentioned, when you are shifting to a conscious place, listen to those affirmations. It's probably the easiest thing that you can do for yourself rather than being fully engaged in other kind of change work. So it really should be seen as a tool. I hope you're enjoying those morning affirmations. And as well, if anybody has any questions on the End the Anxiety program or the Life Mastery program or the Eat to Beat Anxiety program, please message me at endtheanxiety@gmail.com. Okay, endtheanxiety@gmail.com. I do my best to answer as many of those questions as I can. And I want to thank you all for being a part of this live. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of my life for the last couple of years. And it's just tremendous. It really, I mean, it's just so tremendous that we can feed off of each other, you know, and the quotes that I put out are inspired by your success stories. The quotes that I put out, you know, come to me from time to time. And I would highly suggest that you don't rely on those quotes, but you analyze those quotes and see how they fit into your life today. I want you to know that you don't have to be afraid of self-love and loving yourself and compassion for yourself. You don't have to be afraid of that world anymore. You don't have to find it in external relationships anymore. You can, in fact, build this self-love within you. Please, please, please begin questioning your core beliefs and questioning those ideas, those limiting ideas that tend to show up from time to time. You're worthy of it. You deserve it. And it's the direction you must go to fulfill this need to become the greatest version of yourself. Together, we're going to have a tremendous 2020. I know it. I absolutely know it. And remember again, guys, everything is. If you can live in that place, I promise you, it's going to be life-altering. Everything on the inside is going to change. Everything on the outside is going to change. Anita, Patty, Jenny, Michael, great to see you, man. Julie, right back to where you deserve to be. Michelle, Vicky, have a fantastic week. Zoe, thanks for being here. Kimberly, Denise, Tracy, love you all. Have a wonderful day. Brittany, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful rest of the year. And let's crush 2020. Bye, guys.